All right, welcome to our video. Here's kind of the second part of your geometry day for Wednesday, October 1st. So what we're looking at here is we're looking for these angles. And what this all is going to kind of entail is just kind of working through these problems. So this is going to be your homework for this evening. If you had a chance to look at your homework packet beforehand, you're going to notice it goes 2 and 2, 2 and 3, and then it skips 2 and 4, and then it goes right to 2, 2, 2. And that's by design. The reason why is because in this case this is the actual homework. So again, it's going to benefit you obviously to kind of watch this video and kind of work through it. I'm not going to go through every single problem because again obviously that would be a very long video, and most of you again know how to do a lot of these problems. I'm just going to do a couple of ones that I think are a little bit tougher, so then that way again you can kind of fill in the blanks there. The answer key will be posted on the board, so just keep that in mind. Don't copy for verbatim just because you want to get the homework done. Again, I know it's tempting, but again, the more you practice with these, the better you're going to be, especially for your quiz and test. And again, a lot of you, I think, are really starting to kind of put these together, which is really good. So with that in mind, what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of take a look at the packet, and we'll just kind of go through it a little bit by here. So what it looks like for the first one, 2, and 4, it says, in this problem below, name the kind of angles and or angles of the relationships given. So in this case, again, you're given kind of this diagram here. What you need to do is basically just name the angle, kind of like we did on our toolkit earlier in this case. So a couple of them are going to be a little interesting because in this case, some of them are ones that we actually haven't talked about this year, but in this case, again, ones that you've kind of known in the past. So for number 5, or letter A, I should say, and then angle 5, what we're looking at here is this angle. And it's just naming one specific kind of angle, so there's nothing really, I guess you could say, unique about it. The only thing that's really unique about it is that it's greater than 90 degrees, so this is what we call obtuse. So that's your value there. All right, so obtuse angle there, again, just keep that in mind. Angle 3 and 4, what we're looking at here for letter B, in this case, again, as you see that we have parallel lines, and they're on the opposite side of that transversal. So what that means is then, again, you're going to be inside and on the opposite, so alternate interior angles there. Again, you can just abbreviate alternate interior. All right, so you got those. Then letter C, angles 12 and 10. These ones are, again, going to be, obviously, as you can see, the intersecting lines. They make that V there. And that, with that V, in this case, again, opposite sides, we know right away that they are going to be vertical. For letter D, we're going to look here and notice that, again, we are going to be inside the parallel lines. So 13 and 6 here are inside the parallel lines, and they're on the same side as that transversal. So again, thinking of like that road, Cleveland Avenue, that cuts through both Moreland and Calhoun. So therefore 13 and 6 are what we call same side interiors. Alright, and now we're down to the kind of last couple here at the bottom. So in this case for letter E, it says angle 8. Now this one again isn't actually really unique about anything, ones that we actually haven't talked about for a while. This one actually is just going to be a single angle less than 90 degrees, which we call acute. So any value that's between 0 and 90. They're not going to show up on our test, but just keep that in mind. Alright, and then for letter F, we're looking at here is we're looking at, again, 2 angles. Now, this one's going to be a little trickier because in this case, obviously you see 2 and 3, and you're like, okay, well, what the heck is this? In this case, again, they could be adjacent angles, but there's actually one more thing that can describe them. If you look down here at the bottom with the value of 1, in this case, again, if we measure it up, it actually is on the same line. So this entire angle is actually 90 degrees. So angles 2 and 3 are actually what we call complementary. So we have complementary angles there for those. All right, letter G, angles 4 and 5. In this case, again, sorry, I got kind of tabbed over. My apologies for that. For letter G, angles 4 and 5, they're kind of laying flat on that line there. So therefore, again, they're not doing anything special outside of just being on the line, which we all know lines are supplementary. So that's 180 degrees there. And then the last one for letter H, what we're looking at is angle 10 and angle 8. This one, again, confuses students a lot, and you got to know what you're looking for. So at each intersection, in this case, angles 8 and 10, these are what we're going to call corresponding. So in this case, you can write corresponding in the appropriate diagram there. All right, so you got corresponding. Hopefully you had a chance to do this kind of on your own, and maybe you're just kind of checking back with that video, but in this case, again, those values there. All right, so the next part's just kind of work through these problems. As you can see, again, find the value for x and y. Again, I do have the answer key posted online, but I also have it up on the board there for you, so again, you can kind of come in and grab those. The only one that I really wanted us to take a look at is the one for letter C. What it's asking you to do is it's asking you to calculate y. So a lot of students get this mixed up, and again, we kind of talk about this at the beginning. So if you notice here, all of these have little lines through them, or little arrows, I guess you could say. So this one, that one, and that one, all have these little arrows. So we know right away that all these angles are going to work. What I want you to notice here is for angle C, you still have those arrows, but what's unique about them is these angles aren't actually kind of inside or outside these parallel lines. So what we need to do is we actually need to look closely and say, okay, well, does y and 105, is there any kind of relationship that I can have with these? Because if you look, again, these lines are parallel, but we don't know anything about these lines. So the top line and the bottom line aren't really parallel. So therefore, if we're looking at it and we're saying, well, okay, we can use the parallel lines there, but in this case, we can't tell anything about y. What we're going to say actually for this one is it's actually not possible. My apologies, folks. I'm sick too. So again, if I sound a little raspy with my voice, it's just because I got a cold. So, all right. So we got not possible there, and the reason why is because the top line isn't parallel with the bottom line. So again, as you can see, again, these problems don't take very long. I think it's just being able to kind of figure out what you need for all of them. So you got A, B, C, or A, B, and D there. You can find those values pretty quickly. Again, I'll let you kind of do those on your own. Number 3, it's just asking you to fill in the blanks here. So in this case, you're going to choose multiple choice. I'll do this one with you. As you can see on the back side, we'll talk about those here in a second. So number 3, it says angles 1 and angle 7 are blank angles. Well, if I'm looking at these, again, I look at angle 1 and angle 7. Here's angle 1, here's angle 7. Now these are inside the parallel lines again, and they're on the opposite side of that transverse that kind of cuts through that one. So what we're looking at actually for this one is letter C. So we're going to look at alternate interior angles. Okay, so again, this is just kind of fill in the blank, multiple choice there with those. So again, as you can see on the backside, if you flip on the backside here, you're going to notice that, again, the values kind of go with it. So 4, 5, 6, and 7, you're just going to choose the best option there. So again, those shouldn't take you too long. Make sure again that you read through them, so that way again you know what you're looking for. So again, that shouldn't take you too long. So I'll let you kind of complete that on your own. Number 8, let me take a look at my notes here, make sure. Number 8, I think you'll be okay with. Again, I think students struggle with this one a little bit, but I think you guys will be okay. But with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and take a look at number 9 here. So number 9, it says, examine the diagram below. Use the information provided with the diagram to find the measures of the angles A through G, and then for each angle, name the relationship that is justified. So what this is basically, it kind of encapsulates everything that we're looking at here, is we're just literally taking the reason, and then we're going to use it to kind of help us find the value with it. So for number 9, what we're looking at here, it says A equals blank, and then for the reason with blank. So this is where you're going to put the value measure for A, B, C, all the way through F, and then you're going to put the reason why it is. In this case, again, if it's supplementary, again, you write supplementary with whatever value. So we're just going to start with A, and we're going to work through each of them. So we're looking at this one here. Excuse me. A in this case is going to be the value of 40, or excuse me, A is going to be the value if we're looking here. Now, with the relationship, obviously we know B is going to obviously be a vertical angle with it, but there's nothing really that we can actually take from it. So in this case, I'm looking at that 48. So in this case, we know right away that 48 with that value, in this case, is going to be on that same line, so therefore it's going to be supplementary. So all I need to do is take 180 minus 48, and when I do, I'm going to get a value of 132 degrees. And that reason, again, is what we call supplementary, because they're going to lie on the same line there. We have supplementary, and the reason why is because it's supplementary with that value of 48 degrees. So just keep that in mind, okay? So the next one, for B, in this case, obviously now we're going to use that. And again, if you kind of want to write in 132 there, feel free to. So we got 132 degrees. Now we're going to look at and say, oh, okay, well, now we just said angle B and angle A are vertical angles. So I know angle B is going to be the same exact value as this. So I'm going to put 132 degrees. Reason why is because, again, vertical angles. And then with that, you have the vertical angle, my apologies. The vertical angle, and the reason why is because it's vertical with that angle A. So you can go ahead and put A there for that reasoning. All right, and then for letter C, what we're looking at here is, again, now we got 132 degrees for B. And now if we look, in this case again, now we got to go to C. So if we're looking, we're like, okay, well, there's not really anything that I can say about it. Maybe I do, but I'm looking over here now at parallel lines. Because in this case, if I look, angle C, if we look really closely, is actually going to be alternate interior angles with that actual value for angle A. And I'm going to extend this line here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. In this case, here's angle A, here's angle C. And again, it's kind of hard to look at because in this case, again, the line's not extended. So if you want to, feel free to. So in this case, that value is actually going to be the same as the value for angle A. So you can go ahead and write 132 degrees. And then you're going to go ahead and write alternate interior angles. And the reason why is because, again, it's alternate interior with that value for angle A there. All right, so kind of cool. So in this case, again, we have the same value for all of them there for A, B, and C. So we'll hopefully go ahead and switch it up here. All right, then for D, if we're looking here, this one is going to be another supplementary because if I look, we're on the same line there, so I'll put 132 here. Angle D then is going to be the value of 29 degrees, and the reason why is because, again, you got it, or excuse me, apologies, not 132. Jeez Louise, my apologies. Supplementary, and the reason why is supplementary is because, again, it's with that value, actually not of 132, I misspoke, 151 here, folks. So in this case, if I look, 151 is actually on the same line as angle B, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to put 29 degrees, and then that is supplementary with, and that's 151 degrees there that was given. As you can see, again, these problems, obviously, when you're not thinking about them, obviously can be a little bit confusing, so just keep that in mind. All right, letter E looks like this. So in this case, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at, again, vertical angles, and if I look here, obviously it's going to be the value of 29. So I'm going to put E, and I'm going to put 29 degrees in vertical with angle B. So again, giving that reasoning with the other angle that's given there. All right, and then for letter F, what we're looking at here is we got, again, that same kind of deal. So if I look at F, obviously it's vertical again. We got those crisscrossing lines, so therefore I can write vertical. But this one's going to be 151 because in this case, again, it's crossed from that 151 degrees there. All right, and then for letter G, if we look closely, in this case, again, we're actually going to be looking at the angles again. So in this case, 29. This one's also going to be 29, and the reason, I should pull this up a little bit. The reason why is because, again, we have alternate interior angles. So we're on the opposite side of the transversal, inside those parallel lines. So we have 29 degrees, and then alternate interior angles, and that's going to be with letter D, in this case, for that one. All right, and then for H, in this case, what we have, excuse me, we can actually do it a bunch of different ways. What I did, though, if you look, in this case, you actually have them on the same side as the transversal line, and then again, inside the parallel lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 180 minus that value of, pardon, good lord, my apologies. In this case, I'm just going to actually do 180 minus the value of 29 and 132, and get 19 degrees there. And so the last one for letter H is 19, and the reason why is because if you look, they actually have what we call supplementary, so you can just be supplementary. And you can do with A and G there for that one. All right, so as you can see, excuse me. These ones are a little bit trickier. Again, this is going to be actually a quiz question. You're not going to have all of them. You're going to have like 3 of them. So just keep that in mind when you're, again, filling these out and you go through them. So hopefully you had a chance to take a look, and then with that in mind. All right, so bottom part here for number 10, you're going to do letters 10A. You're going to find the value and then label X. Now, with that in mind, it kind of got cut off here again. So as you can see, some of the problem here got skipped out. So you can just cross out letter B. Don't do that one, again, for that bottom part for page 3. But 10A, feel free to do. right, flip on the back side. You're going to look, obviously you have the reason, you can cross that out, that was for B. Again, oops, B there, it kind of got crossed out again. All right, backside with those, as you can see, for C and D. Again, you're just going to solve these values. Again, just keep in mind that, again, it's literally telling you that the angle 8 is 3x minus 8. So if you want to, just literally put in 3x minus 8 for that number 8 there. And then for angle 7, it's 2x plus 10. So just put 2x plus, oops, not that one. Oops, 2x plus 10 for that one there. So just keep that in mind. And again, you can give the reason. So again, give the value and then the reason. So like, for example, if it was alternate interior angles, you would do alternate interior angles and then give the value for x. All right, and then letter D, same kind of deal. This one here at the bottom, same kind of idea, A and B. Find the missing angles. Again, I don't foresee any problems there. So again, just make sure you know what you're looking for. Bottom part for this one kind of got cut off again, so you can just cross out letter B there, or excuse me, letter C. So just cross that one out. I don't know why it got formatted so poorly for this one, so just cross out letter C. You can do D, E, and F, and then letter number 12 there as well. And then the last one is just asking you for the ACT. In this case, again, you can just pick that one, and then you got a couple of problems on the back here as well. All right, so again, I obviously made this video quick. There's just a couple of them that I wanted to go over for sure. As you can see, again, I didn't go over all of them. If there's specific ones that you want me to go over, especially kind of coming up here excuse me, if there are specific ones that you want me to go over when I come back, feel free to let me know. Again, the answer key will have them all, so again, that way you can just at least check your answers for the ones that I didn't do, and then I can just kind of explain it though. So biggest thing I can tell you is just make sure you know the names of them, make sure again how they kind of function, and then be able to apply them so you can solve for missing value as needed. But otherwise, hopefully you find this video helpful. Again, I will be back on Thursday or Friday, depending on when I see you next. So otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Make sure you're good for the sun, and we'll see you all